want to live more sustainably but aren't sure where to start or how it fits in with your everyday living? The Renewy Living podcast simplifies sustainability so you can feel confident to take small, meaningful actions that fit into your lifestyle. Based on the lands of the Awabakal and Worimi people in Newcastle, Australia, you'll learn how to live lighter on our planet through practical ideas, stories from like-minded people, and examples of businesses doing great things. With an open heart and mind, join me, Marty Lee, as we explore how to consume less, build stronger community connections, and thrive in your neighbourhood, wherever you call home. Welcome to the Renewy Living podcast. Hello, my name's Marty Lee, and welcome to the Renewy Living podcast. In this episode, we're at the closing of the 2024-25 Lake Macquarie Sustainable Neighbourhoods Waste to Art exhibition. It's a free annual event that brings together thought-provoking artworks made entirely from waste by people from across the community. Some of the pieces are so refined, it's hard to believe they began as waste. I discovered that everyone defines waste differently. For many households, waste is what goes in the rubbish or the recycling bin. But waste is much broader than that. It can be surplus materials, duplicates or offcuts, and even something brand new that just isn't needed anymore is also waste. And that's the beauty of this exhibition. It helps you to see waste differently. Each year from late October through to the end of January, the exhibition pops up in selected Lake Macquarie City Council libraries. You'll find entries from early childhood centres, schools, artists, and people who just want to have a go at being creative with waste. So in this episode, you'll hear from the two People's Choice Award winners. They are Jennifer Strutt, who's the atelier from Wood Rising Natural Learning Centre, who talks about their piece, Save Me, and also Marina Debris with her work, The Inconvenience Store. You'll also meet Jo, the volunteer organiser behind the exhibition, as well as people who came along to the closing event. And because this exhibition is such a visual experience, I don't want you to miss out. You can see photos of the artworks mentioned here on the episode at this episode's blog post at renewyliving.com.au. I'm talking with Jo, one of the organisers, volunteer organisers for the Waste to Art exhibition that happens in Lake Macquarie for the last 7 years or so. Jo, can you tell us what's happened today?
Today we had our awards presentation, and it's a People's Choice Awards. Basically, everybody comes to see the artwork, gets to have a vote, and you can see some of the most successful items are really the ones that are created by community groups, and the community gets behind it. We have like preschools and primary schools, and there's so many children who are involved, and it's kind of like a really great way for them to get some insight into waste art, what it means from the kind of more extreme side of we only in our artwork we only use things that have been absolutely thrown away, last resort, to sometimes in the artwork we're using things that are actually recyclable, but we're calling out the overuse of them. So we know they can, like milk bottle tops, they can be recycled, but they're overused and we need to be conscious of them. So there's kind of like a couple of extremes in waste to art.
Who is the winner for the Toronto Library exhibition?
Our Children of Wood Rising Natural Learning Centre, it's a childcare centre in Wood Rising, and they did a beautiful piece called Save Me, and it is about the swift parrots who are based in Tasmania, and about possible extinction in the same way we had extinction with dinosaurs.
So I'm Jennifer Strutt, and I work at Wood Rising Natural Learning Centre. I'm the atelier there, which is just a fancy name for an art teacher, but I run the art program and the art studio there. So you're looking at the writers here. These are 3 girls wrote all of these words. So they're just emerging literacy learners, right? So they've just started learning how to write. Now they've been able to use it somewhere. The main 2 items that they use as waste at school are texters in the art room and the yoghurt sachets, the tops. With a discussion, we thought we'd make the feathers of this is about a swift parrot, out of the texters and the yoghurt tops. And the fluff is from the inside of the texters. Also, you've got the drawers. So Tilly, she made the swift parrots, and Audrey she was on blossoms. There's 2 types of blossoms here. She made the paper ones. At the time of conception of this artwork, the children of Wood Rising Natural Learning Centre were and still are involved in exploring the terms active citizens and agents of change and reflecting on their involvement in the local community. We as educators at the centre are creating an overarching project of active citizenship that has been rolled out through a number of smaller projects. So there's been about 3 or 4 different projects, with our aim to have as many 4 to 5-year-olds as possible engaged in ongoing projects where they give back to the community in meaningful ways. We hope to be able to measure this at the end of the projects, the children's growth, their dispositions and knowledge from the start and to the finish of each project. In particular, we've been collecting and recycling hard-to-recycle items through the TerraCycle and the Banish recycling initiatives, making connections with the residents at a local aged care facility and managing invasive flora and fauna species through the conservation and the regeneration on Moneybung Hill with Landcare. So these girls are part of all these different projects. The children have gained a deep understanding of what habitat is needed for the survival of the powerful owl and the glossy black cockatoo. Most importantly, the children have been inspired to want to care for other habitats other than their own environments, as well as their own environment and endangered species within those environments. Also, important to the making of the artwork is the dedicated art studio at the centre that the children have, where they can come together and work uninterrupted on creative and self-expressive projects, ideas and literacy skills. Themes at the time when we were making the artwork were in the art room were the extinction of dinosaurs, the exit of our centre chicken. What's our chicken's name?
Danger Mouse.
Yeah, Danger Mouse, who went to greener pastures. She's still with us, but she's living somewhere better. And the evolution of chickens from dinosaurs. So with the deep understanding and the interest and new learning that the children brought to the art room from their different projects, combined with the interest in dinosaurs and evolution, the children looked at how they could address their own waste and share their knowledge with the community. Their artwork, Save Me, came from a discussion about dinosaurs and chickens, which in turn moved to parrots and their distinctive beaks as a result of their apparent evolution from dinosaurs. We researched other endangered native parrots and settled on the critically endangered swift parrot. To create his feathers, we decided to use the 2 waste items that we accumulate the most at school, texters and yoghurt tops. So the top part of the composition shows a scene full of life and colour like the swift parrot. And the bottom of the work represents death and destruction in graphic black and white. We used a pair of Jurassic dinosaur bird legs that we'd looked at in the past and then blown up to add to the legs to explain that if we don't look after the swift parrots, they're going to end up just like the dinosaurs. Finally, I asked the children, if you were swift parrots and you saw humans knocking down your homes and taking your food away, what would you want to say? And what is it, girls?
Stop knocking down my trees. I need them to live.
Yep, so that is the message that they've written down here. So as for the critically endangered swift parrot, populations, so they migrate down to Tasmania during the winter months and they come back during the summer months too. And I'm pretty sure I saw some noted up as closest to us as Port Macquarie. So we kind of settled on that as well because it's kind of close to us. Population levels are at about 500 birds in the wild. Now, that's not real good. Deforestation of trees for human housing and development is a major contributor to the species of potential extinction, as the swift parrots like to breed in the same place every year. They spend the warmer months of the year in Tassie and they migrate to the mainland in winter, and it's the logging of their habitat in Tassie that threatens them. So the main hero campaigning for these, though, is Bob Brown from the Bob Brown Association. So he's always campaigning for those swift parrots and other causes all the time. So if you're feeling the need to get on there and make some real difference to the swift parrots outcome, hop onto his association and see if you can help him out there somehow.
Hey.
Thank you, everyone. Okay, girls. Well done. Well done.
And then in Swansea, Marina Debris, who's a really well-known artist in this area of waste to art, and her piece was called The Inconvenience Store, and that is a sensational piece of two panels joined together creating a store, and it's full of items, fun and quirky items, but they're all found in the sea, and then even the plastic, the covers, everything is recyclable that she uses.
Hi, I've moved up here about, a year and a half ago from Sydney. So I've been collecting rubbish for, 25 years or so, but only making it into art for the last, 15 still. And I started in Los Angeles because I moved from Bondi to Venice Beach, California, where there was just so much rubbish washing up. I didn't even know it was an issue. I felt like I was living under a rock for a long time anyway. And then I came back to Sydney about 10 years ago, and it's just as bad. So my work is exclusively based on ocean pollution. I pick up on local beaches. Our beaches are every beach in the world. There's like no beach. It can be very remote. There's still rubbish washing up. And my sort of goal is to make us realize that to not use these items whatsoever if we don't need them. We live in a very lucky country, same as America, where we have waste management. A lot of the countries do not have any waste management whatsoever, and yet we still have this issue. So we have to ask ourselves, what are we doing wrong? I applaud you all. I started this because I was concerned about marine life. I'm still concerned about marine life, marina debris, not real. The Inconvenience Store started, I just thought it would be a funny idea because I was finding things that were very everyday items. I still do. I still find the exact same things to this day, which is crazy. Maybe fewer plastic straws, but just as many paper straws. I thought it would be a funny, sort of ironic statement to sell items that, you'd find in a convenience store, but behind that is that they've been out in the ocean and in the sun, and they're degrading, they're breaking up into smaller bits of plastic, causing more havoc. So, and the Barbie collection, that's Bycatch Barbie. She's a gummy girl, which is Japanese for rubbish girl, which was the nickname I was given when I went to Japan. And so it's all based on the same theme, but my overall concern is actually the same as you girls, which is the extinction of all species, certainly not just the human species, but all native animals, all unnative animals. I do want the extinction of farmed animals because animal farming is what's causing a huge amount of land clearing. I don't want anyone to forget that. So if I can leave you with one thing, it's that. And just a final note on that. Obviously, I didn't write my speech, which I was asked to. The store itself is made, all the merchandise is found on the beach, but I've repackaged it in found packaging materials. So nothing is virgin, nothing. Even the pegboards I bought secondhand, but that's the closest thing to a virgin material. And the ink is virgin. I haven't figured out I printed the labels and everything on found paper. All the cardboard, all the plastic wrapping, it's all found. So I was scavenging rubbish bins. I was taking the magazine covers, the plastic magazine covers on the street, off the street. Even the case itself, I found someone was giving it away on Marketplace. The Barbies are all from the street. I do have some from the beach too, but all from the street. I've found boxes of Barbie dolls. People throw out, their toys and they're done with them. In what I do, I'm very true to my technique. Like I never cheat or, use, like I have friends or family say, will you take this item I'm going to throw away or recycle even? And I'm like, no, of course not. And then they'll say, oh, I'll just throw it in the ocean then, so you can use it. I'm like, they're joking, but no, I'm very, very specific about what I use. I only use under parts for things that I find on the street, but everything you see is from the beach. The fact that it's super easy to understand and it's educational at the same time and it's funny is a real, it seems to convey the message very well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done.
Very much.
We're at the closing of the Waste to Art exhibition of Lake Macquarie for 2024-2025, and I'm now chatting with some of the people at the exhibition who've really admired all the artists' work. Can you please introduce yourself, your name, and what you've really enjoyed seeing at the exhibition?
My name is Suzanne, and for me, seeing the impact and the amount of waste that is collected, especially with the winners, the shop, I was blown away, and it was incredibly creative, but it also makes you feel really sad that there is so much waste coming up on our beaches, which, and you just imagine what that's doing to our sea and, just our animals. And to me, that's the most important thing, because when you think about it, the world could survive very well without us and it would thrive, but we're destroying it. And I love animals and I love flora and fauna. So this is like such a great initiative, and especially when children are involved, because it kind of gives you a bit of hope for the future. If we can get our children, educate our children about sustainability and about our planet, then we might have more hope for the future. So yeah, it's just been incredible. I've been glad to be a part of it. Yeah, definitely.
You've also been an artist. You entered a submission this year as well. Can you tell us about your piece?
Yeah. So I painted on cardboard. It was used oil paint on cardboard, and there are quite a few artists around that do that, and they use reusable surfaces to paint on, and I really think that is really the way to go as an artist, because you've got to think about what materials you're using. So yeah, it was a really good experience, my first time, and I'll definitely do something again next year. So yeah, looking forward to it.
I'm really glad it's pushed your boundaries as an artist and also as a community member, seeing what other people have been doing as well. How do you think an exhibition like this would make people change the way they view waste?
I think it opens your eyes, like speaking to the artists as well and getting their intake. I think it really changes your perspective on, what the impact of your usage of everyday materials has on the planet.
We're here at the closing of the Waste to Art exhibition in 2024-2025, and I'm having a chat to Selma Barry, who is one of the artists who submitted her works in here, and it's on exhibition at the Toronto Library. Selma, hello and welcome.
Oh, hi.
Could you please tell us about your artwork? What were the main challenges of creating an art from waste?
I had a lot of wires from champagne bottles, and I felt they were creative and they could be made into something. And so first I made them into flowers by unwiring them and then rewiring them into the shape of a flower. And then I've always been a collector of waste and wanting to recycle and be arty. And I always liked the waste of art exhibitions, so I thought I should enter it one year using them. But I then thought, how can I use them? So I decided to make a forest floor using the corks as the mushrooms in the forest floor. I had to make a log, which was the challenge, and found cardboard and hand paper and lots of PVA glue to give it shape and texture.
Because one of the things with the log is when I first spoke to you earlier, you said you really wanted to use natural timber as part of that, but then realised that as part of the criteria for the exhibition, you had to use everything from waste.
Yes, I'm a gardener and I've got this wonderful rotten log in my garden that would have been perfect, but I couldn't use it because it was a natural material, and I can understand that. So, yes, I made that, and then the forest floor is made up of leaves, the coloured part of pictures out of old newspapers, just did the shape of a leaf. I've added some paint to the whole thing just to give it clarity.
And what have you learned from this process?
You need a lot more time than you think. Now, I've enjoyed putting it together because it was something, I'm a gardener, so it's something I see when I go bushwalking. I admire nature, and so I've developed something that looks like part of nature out of waste.
What are your hopes for people who see your work? What are your hopes for them to think about the impact of waste on our environment?
I'd like people to think that everything that they have in their house has potential for another purpose. They need to think about repurposing things. And if they can't, then not to purchase them. I've always been a reuser, recycler, repurposing person. I think I got that from my mother because she lived through World War II. And it's amazing what you can do when you repurpose things and create new things out of them. It's very satisfying, actually.
Thanks so much for your time, Selma. Especially this is such a noisy environment, but it's been a very supportive day this morning.
Thank you very much for asking me to speak.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Renewy Living podcast. I hope you're feeling more confident about taking a localised and actionable approach to living sustainably. If this episode has inspired you to take simple action, please follow the Renewy Living podcast so you can catch every episode. We'd love it if you could share this episode with your friends. It's a great way to spread the word and help more people join the conversation about living sustainably. You can even send me an email with the episode that really made it for you. Hearing your positive actions for change helps me understand how these stories work within our shared communities. Head over to my website, renewyliving.com.au, for the show notes and blog posts from this episode. I look forward to sharing more stories from the people of Newcastle as we delve into our community's diverse social and environmental practices for positive planetary change from a localised perspective.